Okay, this expression, you will hear this a lot. It's it goes, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, right? And it means here's the surprising thing. And it works best when there's something really ironic about it, right? So, for example, uh, I had two roommates. One was a British guy, and one was an Australian guy. And they, when we would go around town in Tokyo, um, they would start problems with the Japanese people, just making some kind of comment towards them. And I would say, hey, listen, don't start problems with people. They're not bothering us. Why are you doing that, right? But here's the kicker: you, I could hear the Japanese guys talking to each other, and they would say blah 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 American, right? So I'm an American. This was an Aussie and the British guy starting shit with these Japanese guys, and the kicker was that they blamed it on Americans. They had no idea what our nationality was, but you could hear them say blah 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 American, you know. And the kicker was that I was trying to talk them out of doing that, right? Um, so anyway, so I'm trying to talk about the irony of the thing. It's the kicker is anytime something is surprising, surprising information. So actually, one of my least favorite people in the world, who this guy is a braggart, he's irritating. Everything about him is irritating, right? And but the kicker is he's a pleasant person to talk to. That's the kicker. You know, that's what's so ironic about the thing is I when I get away from him, I hate him, all of his actions. But the kicker is when you talk to the guy, he's really pleasant to talk to, right? Anyway, so let's talk about some stuff I got set out for you. Okay, all right. This is Carlos Ghosn. He was the former CEO of Nissan and Renault, and this is Greg Kelly. Was kind of his head of personnel, I think. And this is Sai. This is I think his name is Hiroto Saikawa. I forgot his first name. I think it's Hiroto. But anyway, so they needed to pay Carlos Ghosn more money because outside of Nissan, executives made a lot more money. But they couldn't really easily do it because Japanese public didn't want CEOs making they didn't want to see CEOs making too much money. So they had to figure out a way to keep him because it was a talented CEO. So they created this plan to pay him. I think it was I forgot how they did it, but it was to pay him in kind of indirect ways by paying him after he retired or something like that. Maybe putting, like giving him homes and stuff like that. So they made this deal. I, and then, I'm not sure about the details of the deal, but I do know that they all made this deal, and this guy signed the agreement, and obviously Carlos Ghosn signed on it, and they all agreed. Now, this guy went to jail, and he was treated very terribly. And this guy went to jail for a long time, treated very terribly. And the kicker is, this guy didn't go to jail at all. He's Japanese, and so the Japanese just blamed the foreigner, and he didn't get punished at all. The only thing he had to do was just quit his job, and he was not prosecuted. And the kicker is, he also got some illegal compensation, some illegal money. That's the kicker, right? But he got no punishment. So the two foreigners got punished, and the Japanese guy. Oh, and the kicker is, all he had to do was like apologize and quit. Well, that's nothing, right? But then, uh, after all of this stuff went down, uh, after Gon was arrested, he denounced Gon. Basically, he said, "Oh, I can't believe he did such a terrible thing." But Saikawa was in on the whole thing. Oh, that's that's the kicker. The kicker was that he was also making extra compensation. Okay, but anyway, this is commonly used.
That I expect women will pay. But here's the kicker.
My vineyard is on Mission Vineyard Drive, as it turns out. But here's the kicker.
Now here's the kicker.
So she's going to talk about this person that she doesn't agree with, but she thinks he's a good guy. So there's a kind of irony, right? They don't agree with each other on anything, but she thinks he's a good person, right? And he's a kind man. So it's often used with something that's very ironic. And I was also going to talk about, like, let's say, women's sports. Women's sports. So there's a lot of like activism saying that women's sports should be paid equal. That, like, women should be paid equally, right? In my factory that I used to work at, when everybody got paid equally, and for the most part, it was fair. It should be, right? But there were sometimes when I had to do this job and the woman couldn't do it, so I had to do her work, and I didn't make any extra money, right? But anyway, we're talking about women's sports. Women's sports makes way less money. It's just less popular. So there's less money to be shared with the players. Okay? So that's why they make less money. And personally, I think that's fair, even if they're doing the same job. It's economics. But here's the kicker. Talking about equal pay. This guy he talks about, like, tips and tricks to survive in the woods and stuff. Okay, and he's pretty popular. He's got 988,000 subscribers. Now, he's a pretty good teacher, right? Now, this woman here, she does a similar thing, but she usually wears this kind of thing, and there's always something in every video showing this this view of her, in every video she's showing something like this, right? And so, no surprise, she's got 8.48 million subscribers. Now, tell me that that's fair, right? She's making a lot more money. I mean, it's natural though, because there's just a higher demand for that, right? There's more people tuning in, so she should make more money. But they're really doing equal work. In fact, the guy does it a little bit better because he speaks. She doesn't even speak, right? She just does all of this stuff and dresses a certain way. So anyway, the kicker is, that's the kicker, right? Is that there's no activists complaining that she's making way more money, right? That's the kicker, right? Anyway, so the kicker is used when we're talking about something ironic. Oh, I got another one. Amazon.com. A few years back, I bought some RAM. RAM is this kind of memory stick from Amazon. And I had this computer this laptop computer, and it was the correct RAM. I double checked it with a lot of sources. It was the correct RAM. I had it sent to me, and my computer was working fine, but it was just not. There was just not enough RAM. I put the RAM stick in there, right, and I put it in correctly. It burned out my computer within hours. I mean, like I put it in, and immediately it started smoking. It was actually impossible to insert it the wrong way. And it burnt out my computer, messed up my computer, and it was probably, I don't know, it was probably an $800 computer. Wasn't the best in the world, but it was worth a lot to me, right? And Amazon refunded my money for the RAM, but still their product burnt out. It wasn't Amazon. It was a separate vendor, like Amazon Marketplace. But Amazon's got this insurance policy where they'll cover any damage caused by the product bought from one of these Amazon marketplaces. And it toasted my computer. I had to buy a new one. And so I was like, I want you guys to pay for my computer. And they said, no, it's impossible. It didn't cause it. And I said, yeah, well, it did. I don't have any reason to lie. I want my computer back, right? Or just send me another computer. No. So then the kicker is, here's the kicker. They wouldn't let me write a review about that, right? That's the kicker. So I tried to write a negative review and say, listen, don't buy RAM from this company because their stuff was burnt out my computer. And they just kept deleting it. Can you believe that? Terrible. Yeah. I don't know if I should say. Yeah, okay, I'll tell. I got another one. Here's it. So, in Japan, they've got a lot of people who try to, just very openly, try to recruit women into the sex industry, like this different shops where it's not always sex. Sometimes it's just a kind of like it's called a hostess place or kyabakura kind of place. And these women can't even like walk home without being stalked by these guys, and the cops don't do anything. I don't know if they're taking kickbacks or not. But so one day I went to the police and I said, listen, this is not good, right? You're letting these guys just harass these women, and they're just trying to come home from work. And the cops wouldn't do anything, right? And they just laughed at it. I don't think that's funny, right? So then, now the kicker is, I tried to write a review of the police station and say, listen, this is going on. But Google Japan does not allow you to write a review of the police stations. Now that's totally like, totalitarian state, like communist China. You can't complain about the government, right? That's terrible, right? When the thing that you want to complain about, they won't allow you to do it. Terrible. So that's the kicker. The kicker was that I tried to complain on Google Maps, and Google Japan wouldn't allow me. That was the kicker, the surprising thing. Okay, so long story. Anyway, I will talk to you on the next idiom.